United, the platform for Dolphins. You heard me, we back in the house, boy. Draft right round the corner, man. We got some stuff to talk about, to be honest. All right, this is going to be my one and only draft video. I've been busy. All right, was going to try to do a collab. I was not even able to get around to doing that, so my apologies, but once again, I'm doing the best I can on this channel for what right now, based on the stuff I got going on. All right, so we just gonna go off how I feel right now. Let's talk real quick about best player available versus, and then I'm gonna give you some of the guys I want versus best player available versus what's the other one? Need. All right, versus need. Now, there's this debate. Are we, because we've heard, or many of you have heard as I have, that Greer is a best player available drafter, okay? And if you don't know what that means, that pretty much is, doesn't matter, let's say we desperately need a center, right? Which we don't desperately need a center right now because we did end up getting a guy in free agency from the Titans who's supposed to be pretty decent. But let's say we did, right? We had no center, starting center right now, no starting caliber center. We really needed a center. And let's say let's say we were picking 10th, right? And the number one center was still on the board. But lo and behold, there was also a top 3 edge rusher. Let's not use edge rusher because that's going to give people PTSD from jumping up to number 2 to draft a guy that became a bust for us, right? From Oregon. I don't know if y'all remember that. I don't even want to say his name. All right. So let's say wide receiver. All right. Let's say Marvin Harrison, for example, right? Let's say Marvin Harrison was picking 10th, and Marvin Harrison Jr. fell. All right, our top centers, he's there, he's available, and we could take him at 10, but Marvin Harrison falls down to 10. Best player available would state that you take Marvin Harrison Jr. because he was slated to go in the top 3 picks, and he fell to number 10. That's best player available. Or, all right, or is Greer kind of hedging? I'm going to go best player available if my need guy isn't there, right? Like, how does he really go about this? Because let's say, same scenario. You have Marvin Harrison and then you have whatever center, right? I'll just use the guy that I want us to pick up, Jackson Powers Johnson, right? Let's say he's the number 4 overall player on the big board, right? And Marvin Harrison is number 3. We really need a center, but Marvin Harrison he fell and they both are right there. Now, I mean, that's kind of close in comparison. So it's like 3 versus 4, we'll take the need. But do you take wide receiver going best player available because he's in front of Jackson Powers Johnson or JPJ, by the way, or do you take the center because you need a center? All right, now, which one has Greer really been doing? Now, people have, once again, said either way that he's been best player available or no, he's been hedging. He only does best player available when his need guy isn't there. Me, let's just go, you know me, right? I could formulate an opinion, I could be a talking head, I could say this and that, but I'm just going to go with facts. And the facts state that when it comes to Greer, he does best player available from the 2nd round down. All right? That's my belief. And that is how I'm going to stick to it because we haven't had first round pick in the last 2 drafts, but when we did have first round picks, we took Tua. That was not best player available at number 5. I understand he was high on their board, but we were taking a quarterback. We took Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson was not best player available on their board at that point. We were taking a tackle. He was the last tackle left in a run of tackles going in the first round. Then, maybe, just maybe, they took best player available on their board, which, wow, if they did, taking Noah Igbenogany with the third pick, maybe, just maybe, they were best player available at that point, right? Because they just felt like he was a talent that they could not, they could have gone another direction, could have got the safety that ended up going to Tampa. Could have got him, but they didn't. They went with Noah Igbenogany. Maybe they were best player available on their board. I doubt it, but maybe they did because they didn't need a cornerback, although they knew that either Byron Jones or X were going to be on their way out at some point, probably X more than Byron Jones at that point because the injury concerns weren't there. They weren't pressing like that yet. So we don't know what they were thinking on that pick. But then you go to the second round and they take Robert Hunt, right? That was probably best player available, all right? Now, following year, they take Javon Holland. That's probably best player available, second round, okay? So Christian Wilkins as well, all right? I think was best player available more than likely. We know Laremy Tunsil, that was best player available. All right, so there's times Jalen Waddle. Seems like that was maybe best player available on their board. Chase was gone already. They were probably looking to take a wide receiver anyway because they needed weapons, so maybe not. Maybe that was needed, right? So you could find cases for both. I say past the first round, he is looking more so best player available because he's found gems, right? After what Greer has found gems in the second round, and some in the third, and some in the fifth, right? But he hasn't found a bunch of gems because Chris Greer hasn't had the cleanest record drafting. There's a lot of guys he's missed on in every round, all right? But his best success, and I mentioned this last year, is the second round. And it's usually because he's going best player available. It's usually because he's grabbing a guy that is a first round talent that slips to the second because all these quarterbacks end up getting drafted high, which pushes some really good talent down the board, all right? And that's what's really good with 5 or 6 quarterbacks going in the first round. If you don't need a quarterback, these good guys are going to end up being early picks in the second round that should have been first round grades. All right, so that's really good for us to be in that position where we do have a first round pick this year and a second round pick this year to where we can capitalize on those other teams taking quarterbacks. Run on defensive tackles could happen, a run on wide receivers could happen, a run on centers could happen, a run on edge players can happen where other guys get moved down the board. Okay, so now, personally, if I was a GM running the draft, I would marry the two, best player available and need. All right, let me tell you how. All right, at 21. We pick at 21 this year. All right. All right, Leatu, I hope I'm saying Leatu, Latu, if he is at 21 and Byron Jones is still available, Byron Murphy's still available, JPJ is still available, and the 2 wide receivers from Texas are both still available, yours truly, I am going to be rocking with Latu all day long. All right. Now, is he a need? No. Because we have two pretty good, coming off injury, pretty good edge guys that are locked in for a while. But I'm taking them. I'm taking them. I know some of y'all are going to be like, dude, he has injury concerns. Yes. But I'm sure he's going to be a top 20, top 15, top 20 pick, injuries aside. All right. He has crazy, out of this world talent. If he's there at 21, I'm bypassing center. That's the need. And I'm taking best player available. If he's there and some of the other guys that should be top 5, 10 picks aren't there and he's there, I'm taking him. All right. So in that case, I would say I went best player available. Now, if he's not there, right? Let's say he's not there, but Murphy's there. Adonai is there. Xavier is there. Graham Barton is there. Dejan or however you want to say it. Cooper is there. I think it's Dejan, but I'm Haitian, so I can say it like that. Chop is there as well. Chop Robinson. And JPJ is there. I'm taking JPJ. Need. All right. Now, some of you people are like, well, nah, I'm taking Byron Murphy. I'm taking Chop. I'm saying that Latu is not there, right? I'm going to go in that position. Not best player available. I'm going need when it comes to that. Because, man, you don't just miss on guys like JPJ, right? If he falls to number 21 and Latu ain't there, for me, this is just me now. Y'all can pick who y'all want to pick. I'm taking JPJ. All right, but now, let's go ahead and let's say JPJ is not available. All right, let's say JPJ is gone by that time. Let's say Barton is gone by that time, who is the other center that I like in the first round, who has a first round grade. Let's say both those guys are gone, right? We can't get a center. And I know some of y'all are like, well, what do you need a center for anyway? Because we could move the guy that we just got from the Titans out to one of the guard spots and give us more flexibility and depth. All right. And we have a guy coming in who is a bona fide starter, all right, for us. And then some people are going to be like, how do you know he's a bona fide starter at center? I'm going to tell you how I know. All right. I got this little list right here that I wrote down. They did some research over the last 19, I think it was, drafts. Do you know how many centers? All right. And I think it was like 11 picked in those 19 years in the first round. Do you want to know how many of those centers became good pro starters? 10 of them. 92%. Next highest percentage. All right. Offensive tackle. 59%. That is a big separation from 92% to 59% success rate for a position. All right. Next, you have guard, 50%. Next, you have edge, 44%. Next, you have defensive tackle, 40%. So, if you want a sure-fire thing, a sure pick, get you a center. Plain and simple. If JPJ is there at 21, that's a guarantee. You can take that pick with your eyes closed. He's going to be a serviceable starter in the NFL, and you got a 92% rate. All right, so I like statistics. I like going with the stats, and I like making sure I'm making a good decision as well, and not just guessing. With 59% going to offensive tackle, that's a guess, and anything under 50 is you're flipping a coin, right? 50 to under 50, you're flipping a coin anyway. The surefire guarantee is the center. I'm taking the surefire guarantee. All right, and the graph is up so you can see for yourself. All right, I ain't lying. All right, now, if JPJ's not there, the center's not there, who are some of the other guys that I'd be interested in? I mentioned one already, Byron Murphy. Would be interested in him. I'd be interested in Chop Robinson for sure at that pick. All right. This is controversial. I would be interested more so in Adonai than I would in Xavier. Now, both of them are from Texas. Both of them are fast. Yes, Xavier is the faster of the two, runs the 4.21, set the combine records for the 40 time, but he's 5'11", 5'10", 5'11". And he's a smaller guy. Whereas Adonai is 6'2", 200 pounds, and runs a 4.3. How tall is Waddle again? 5'10". How tall is Tyreek Hill again? 5'9", 5'10". Small guys. 4'3", 4'2 guys, both of them. Wouldn't it be great to have an Adonai Mitchell sitting across there, 6'2", 203, I think it is, runs a 4.3 speed as well? All right? Wouldn't it be great to have one of those taller wide receivers there that you can count on when Tyreek Hill is gone, where you still got your speed? All right? Now, he's not blazing, but he's Waddle speed, right? Waddle runs a 4.3 as well. So both of those type of guys, and one can catch the ball a little bit at a higher level, all right? And when I say level, I mean like actually getting up off the ground and go get it, right? He has a better catch radius, all right, if you want to go with that term, than Waddle would, all right? I'm going with him out of the two, and they're both really good receivers, all right? I wouldn't have a problem with either one, but I would definitely go with Adonai over Xavier. I know some of y'all don't like that, but hey, it's my list. It is what it is. But all things considered, if I'm going to take a guy and it's not a center, it's probably going to be Byron Murphy. Just get your defensive tackle. Get you a good one in the first round. All right, it's a 40% chance that they'll have success. Take them. Take the first round defensive tackle. The tackle spot is not a real deep position this year's draft. So I would go ahead and I would take the defensive tackle early, and we can worry about everything else later on. All right. Now, here's something else that you need to keep on your mind. Second round. Okay. If some of these guys fall, you already know we got a really good chance of taking one of these guys in the second round at pick 50 something, 55, 59, whatever it was. But there's one guy that I really want above them all. If JPJ's not there, if Graham didn't fall that far, which I doubt he will, Graham Barton, he didn't fall that far. If Cooper didn't fall that far, and his first name is Cooper, by the way. His last name is Dejean, which I kind of said it backwards because I have it written backwards here. But his first name is Cooper. Safety, I really like him. And he solidifies the safety depth, and we need it. But there's one guy above them all that I would take in the second round, maybe besides Cooper, and that's Peyton Wilson. Okay, Peyton Wilson ran a 4.3, if I'm not mistaken. This guy from NC State, absolute dog, instincts, middle linebacker. All right, I mean, he models his game, in his opinion, models his game after Luke Kuechly. He's got the smarts. He's a sure tackler, can play both the run game and the pass game. Look, if if Peyton Wilson is there at our pick in the second round, pick it with your eyes closed, Miami Dolphins. Pick it with your eyes closed. I know you're probably saying we just got two guys from free agency. And we got the guy we had last year who played pretty well in David. I can't remember his last name right now. I got so many names in my head that I'm struggling to remember some of the names of our players. Forgive me. It is what it is. But y'all know who I'm talking about, right? David Long, there it is. Boy, it just hit. All right. Number 51, who just changed his number to number 11, by the way, for this upcoming season. But anyway, besides the point. David Long, who could still play there this year, and you can have Peyton Wilson play on the outside, or you could have David Long play on the outside and then insert. And if you're running a 3-4, then you need 2 middle linebackers anyway. Put them right next to each other, and then you're good to go. All right, you can have 2 mics, kind of. All right, one's going to be calling plays, one's not, but you can have 2 of those guys in the middle. All right, like a T. Suggs and well, I guess T. Suggs and a Ray Lewis, if you will. All right, or Channing Crowder and Zach Thomas, if you will, or Marlon Greenwood and Zach Thomas, if you will. Well, however pairing you want to pair it, right? You'll have 2 guys in the middle that you know can get the job done. Both of them will trigger fast. Peyton is probably a little more athletic, obviously younger, and probably a better pass defense specialist than David Long. But David Long can take him up under his wing and show him the ropes and everything like that. And maybe one of the free agents pan out too. And now we have depth at the middle linebacker position, which we need desperately in our defense, all right? Past that, whoever they take is whoever they take, all right? Guys are going to fall for whatever reason. Guys are going to go high on the board for whatever reason as well. Some guys are going to be reaches. So certain guys that you may expect to be there in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round might not be there. So I'm not going to go and do a whole mock draft before you right now in my head of who we could take in each round. But I did do some mock drafts. I don't know a lot of the guys. There's a guy in the 7th round, 6th, 7th round in Gabe Hall, defensive lineman, that I wouldn't mind picking up. All right. And maybe they double down on defensive tackle. I don't know. All right. Here's what I do know. Draft is right around the corner. First round is going to be Thursday night. And I'm going to have a video for you Thursday night after the Dolphins pick or trade out of it. All right. That is a possibility as well. If the Dolphins can get a first-round pick still trading down, right, can keep their first-round pick, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and pick up a second or third or 2/3 or whatever, I'm for it. I'm for it. Trade down. Trade down, because one of these guys that I mentioned should be there, hopefully. And I'm cool with any of them. I would rather JPJ, as you know, right? And if not him and Murphy's there, I would rather him. But any of those guys, I would take in a heartbeat in the first round. But keep your first round doggone pick. Don't trade out of the first round unless they give you a first next year, okay? And which I know that I mean, when it comes to trading, that's Greer's thing. Right? He'll do the fleecing. He ain't really going to get fleeced like that too often. But I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Y'all already know what it is. Fins up till we die. I'll see y'all after the draft. I'm out.
Yeah,
listen to this Haitian nigga right here.
Nothing.
Listen to this Haitian nigga.
Raphael, Wes Matthews outperformed his contract on that day. He's a minimum player who did a really good job. Grayson Allen is a guy that they decided to get versus PJ Tucker. Like, at one point, they made a decision to go out there and sign Grayson Allen or trade for Grayson Allen over PJ Tucker. That was the wrong decision. In the playoffs, I thought Grayson Allen had a great year. I thought he's a little bit underrated. I like people like to hate on him because of the fouls and all that other stuff, right?
But if he's not making... No, he's not.
But I think, like, I look at him, George Hill, and I mean, if they had Middleton, Wes Matthews is a guy that would have played 15 minutes ago.